All right, let's dive right into this explainer. I want you to imagine I'm stepping into your office today as your senior consultant. We're sitting down to have a serious but honestly pretty exciting conversation about your team's workflow. Look, you're all high-level professionals, but like literally everyone out there right now, you're probably grappling with the modern dilemma of ad hoc AI use. So today, we're going to calibrate your AI judgment skills and establish a formal, structured workflow. The goal here isn't to stop you from using these incredible tools. No way. It's to architect a framework so you can use them with absolute confidence and, most importantly, professional integrity. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the AI consistency problem, defining your AI protocol, some real-world protocol examples, building decision frameworks, your 8-step protocol guide, and finally, avoiding common protocol pitfalls. Let's get right into it. So, think about this for a second. If you formalized your current AI use, what would your protocol actually look like? Like if an auditor walked in right now, today, and asked for the rules governing your team's AI use, could you hand them a document? Or is everyone just kind of figuring it out on their own as they go? Which brings us to Section 1, the AI consistency problem. Here's the harsh truth. Ad hoc use is the enemy of rigorous professional work. Using an AI tool for a literature search on a Tuesday, but refusing to use it for writing on a Wednesday without any clear rationale, that creates a baseline inconsistency that really puts our credibility on the line. And from my perspective as a consultant, this fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants approach is exactly where catastrophic errors happen. When we don't have hard rules for when to trust and when to verify, we're leaving the door wide open for dangerous hallucinations. I'm talking about fake citations seamlessly slipping into your literature reviews, or completely fabricated statistics ruining your data summaries. Without a protocol, those errors aren't just possible, they're practically inevitable. So, let's fix that. Section 2, defining your AI protocol. I know the word protocol often scares people. You hear it and immediately think of bureaucratic red tape, right? But a personal AI research protocol is absolutely not a restrictive 50-page rule book that just sits in a drawer gathering dust. It's a customized, living framework. It's just a way to clarify exactly which tools you use, what your verification procedures look like for critical work, and your transparency practices. It's literally just a few pages that explicitly say, hey, here's when I use AI, here's when I absolutely do not, and here is exactly how I verify the outputs. Let's move to Section 3, real-world protocol examples. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all when it comes to AI. Let's look at Dr. Hassan's approach. She works with massive quantitative datasets. Her protocol heavily leverages AI to check her code, but she strictly mandates a manual spot check of 10% of the results to verify accuracy. Now contrast that with Dr. Chen, who does qualitative research. Her protocol strictly forbids AI from doing the actual synthesis. She codes everything manually and only uses AI as a secondary assistant to highlight pattern clusters she might have missed. Dr. Hassan's heavy data protocol requires completely different verification than Dr. Chen's manual synthesis protocol. Your protocol has to fit your specific professional reality. All right, Section 4, building decision frameworks. Think of this matrix right here as your quick checklist for evaluating task risk versus AI capability. The crucial point is how this layout helps us systematically evaluate that risk. For a literature search, the AI suitability is high, so the verification need might just be a light spot check. But move down to data analysis. Here, you want the AI suitability to be low or just play an assist role, which demands heavy verification, like a rigorous human code review. Drafting sits somewhere in the middle, requiring strict source verification to avoid those fabricated statistics we talked about earlier. You can use this exact matrix to coach your teams on exactly where they need to spend their human energy. Before we actually write your protocol, you've got to understand its 4 essential pillars. First, it has to reflect your personal standards. Ask yourself, do you prioritize speed and efficiency or absolute certainty? Second, it needs those task categories and decision trees we just walked through. Third, you must have rigid verification and documentation standards so you can trace your steps backwards. And finally, disclosure and compliance procedures. If you're submitting to an academic journal or presenting to an internal review board, your framework has to standardize how you report your AI use. Let's put this into action. Section 5, your 8-step protocol guide. We'll start with the setup phase. Step 1, define your values. This is your anchor. If your top priority is absolute certainty and avoiding any risk of hallucinated citations, well, that value dictates literally every subsequent step. Next is Step 2. Categorize your daily tasks. Break them down into literature work, data work, writing work, whatever you do. Moving to Step 3, create that decision framework matrix for each category. deciding if AI suitability is high, moderate, or low. And then step 4, based on that risk level, write out your verification standards. Are you going to spot check 10%? Will you verify every single output line by line? Define it crystal clearly. Now for the execution phase. Step 5. Establish how you're going to disclose your AI use. Please don't wait until a project is finished to figure out what you need to tell your stakeholders or review boards. Get ahead of it. Step 6. Standardize your documentation. Are you saving your prompts? Are you logging the specific tool versions? Step 7. Synthesize all of this into a formal, readable document. A few simple pages is perfect. Finally, step 8. Plan for continuous improvement. Honestly, set a calendar reminder right now to review this document monthly or quarterly, because as your AI skills evolve, your protocol needs to evolve right along with them. And finally, Section 6, avoiding common protocol pitfalls. What's really fascinating here is that most teams fail not because they lack rules, but because they keep them private or make them way too rigid. If you overspecify every minor detail, your team is going to find the protocol burdensome and simply ignore it. If you make the rules too restrictive out of fear, you're preventing highly beneficial AI assistants that could realistically save your company hundreds of hours. And perhaps the biggest trap of all, treating it as a personal secret. Your protocol is a collaboration tool. Share it with your team so everyone is singing from the exact same sheet of music. I want you to remember this. Protocols should enable good work, not unnecessarily constrain it. The ultimate goal here is the sustainable, professional integration of AI into your daily life. We're not trying to create more bureaucratic red tape. We're trying to give you a rock-solid foundation so you can innovate fearlessly while maintaining your research integrity. So let's wrap up with this. Take a hard look at your workflow today. What aspects of this explainer challenge or reinforce your existing research practices? Where are you relying on ad hoc assumptions, and where are you applying rigorous judgment? Take the next hour, sit down with your team, and start drafting your protocol. Empower your workflow, protect your credibility, and master your AI tools. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.